Hey Mark,
Okay.
how you doing? Welcome to Reactor. Are you now Facebook Mark? Is that what's going on here?
No, I'll give you a little update on that, but I am
I'd love to
not.
hear. Did you get that job at Facebook?
Well, I don't even know yet. I think I did really well, but it's there'd still be more steps, and if one of those steps is fly out to the U.S. from like Taiwan, which is handling the pandemic better than anywhere, I probably won't do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So like an on-site would, I mean, flying out there for an on-site would suck normally, but uh, now is an extra cost. So
But are
yeah,
they interviewing you under the guise of being a remote worker or working
well
in
they
America?
the reason okay, so they've been I interviewed there once a long time ago,
Yeah.
right before I worked at Verbling in 2015, and I just left early in the interview process. Actually, the same thing I did with Google. Mostly because Verbling was a really good fit and they were like ready to decide right away. And I didn't have a huge amount of savings. And I knew that just from what I'd heard from other people, like the big companies can be really slow. So after I bailed in the middle of an interview uh, process, not, I mean, not in the interview itself, but in the middle of a hiring process that was going well, they've just kept pinging me every year.
Yeah, yeah. You
And
mentioned that, yeah.
I hadn't actually done another technical screen until just yesterday. But the reason I did this time was, well, one, I think Alchemist Camp is like enough of a flywheel. I can keep it going part time.
Yeah.
Two, I'm like my wrists are a lot better. I feel up for coding all the time. And three, they did say remote might be a possibility. And my big reason, even when I was like really broke right after my last startup, big reason I didn't, go for, one of these big companies is because I didn't want to, have to move back to the US, move back to California. I don't know. And also I don't, it's not entirely clear, how much latitude there is in the remote. Like maybe it's like remote, but only within the US itself.
Oh yeah, okay.
That would, I mean, they know that's not what I'm interested in, but I don't know. Like a huge company, there's so many, moving gears. Who knows what even one recruiter knows? I guess since we're talking about it, though, I'll say generally what my experience was.
Yeah,
I did have to sign an NDA. Like they don't want people just like sharing their interview questions. I wouldn't want to do that anyway. Uh,
interesting. Okay.
so, well, I kind of feel thankful to these like um, these whiteboarding interviews that everybody else hates because that's really how I got in the industry. Back when my resume would have just been a complete no go if there weren't some objective ish test. But I was way over worried about it. Like I was so last week I said my goal was like put in some more time on algorithm prep. I've been going through, that book I told you about and reviewing some of the old prep materials I used several years ago. And I was going there thinking like, the question would be like, okay, you have this this list of tasks with priorities, and how are you going to represent it? I'd be like, I don't know, like a sorted list or something. You're like, no, there are billions of them. You can't afford the big O of n insertion time or update time. I'd be like, okay, like a max heap or something, and then it'd be like, you didn't ask whether if these lists or with these items also had like a cost associated with each. So actually, it's a knapsack problem. You should have used dynamic programming. Boom, you're out. Because we have thousands of other people who want in.
Right.
And I think some of that's maybe just scarring from my experience with the bar raiser interview at Groupon. Like they do this thing where like one out of the five people that interviews you on site is called a bar raiser, making sure you're better than average at your position, which
Okay.
is a thing they inherited from Amazon. Because they like
Hmm.
a lot of the Groupon execs were ex Amazon people. Um, that thing was just brutal, and I was sure I didn't have the job. I was like, I did
But
really
that's so
well.
strange
Four
because
hours and fifth was rough.
Groupon seems like just a non-technology company to me. I mean, it's not even. I don't know why they'd need good tech people.
Well, when I was there, they had a lot of technical problems. I mean, because they were like $1 billion company that got to that point faster than anyone else ever at that time, and their technology was a mess, and they had like all these copycats they acquired, and they had scaling issues, they had like issues of keeping everything normalized across these just vastly different front ends from copycats they bought in different countries. They had all kinds of optimizations they could have done in terms of, I mean, just up and down the stack completely.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, I was expecting one of those like questions where you need to use like an auxiliary data structure and algorithm to pad over the weaknesses of your main one, but then it turns out it's actually a different problem than you thought because you didn't ask enough clarifying questions. That didn't happen at all. It was way more straightforward than I expected. It was like it was a kind of problem that I would have been okay with, like right after getting out of like that boot camp I did years back that you were so skeptical about. But but it's it wasn't like that. The thing that I do think would have helped me though is if I'd just been spending more time writing JavaScript the last several years, because it's
Java. Yeah.
I mean, like I spend most of my time on Elixir. Number 2 is probably Rust. JavaScript is what I spent all my time doing like 5 years ago.
Yeah. So you're a bit rusty.
I was, yes, good pun. But it was, I was just a little slower with the syntax, like remembering, like I mistyped a couple of things, and then had to go back and, oh, wait, no, it's like this in JavaScript, that kind of thing. And it made me slower. So if I didn't get through, I'm guessing it's because of either slowness or, maybe like a personality fit thing. I think like recording lots
I'm
of
sure if you're not going to get
help.
through because of personality fit, I mean, definitely that's...
Well, it's kind of easy to go into screencasting mode, It's like,
yeah,
I'm there, I'm typing, and I'm talking while I'm typing, but it's not a screencast, it's an interview.
Yeah, so cool. Well, listen,
we'll
congrats on on the being really someone they're super interested in, and then retaking the test. And we're looking forward to hearing the rest of the story for sure.
So last week, my first goal was publish 2 new YouTube videos. Just keep the algorithm happy.
Yeah,
I did that, and I haven't published the final one, but I've also recorded the very final one for that live view series, which I feel so good about being done with. Not because of live view, but just because it will turn into a 20 video series. I did interview prep. That was goal number 2. Then goal number 3 was make 5 components for Phoenix Igniter, and I didn't do any of that. So that's going to be probably goal number 1 this week.
Okay. Yeah. My goal number 1 was Nugget, and I didn't touch it.
Well, your goal was to think through the user journeys.
Yeah, I didn't think through the user journeys. I spent a lot of time developing a game.
Oh, that was a goal, like a little progress with Slider?
Well, yeah, there was a lot more progress than a little progress.
Okay.
But it's becoming an obsession at this point, and that's probably not a good thing. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm working with with Anthony, who's doing the designing and building, and every time we sort of do something, it makes me think, oh, we could do this other thing, and it's layering on its new layers until the point where we're now space islands floating in the sky with rockets holding the islands up, and basically obstacles to move between the islands, and the design of it is beginning to look like a proper video game, like something you'd actually buy kind of thing. And it's like, and there's little platforms that you jump around on, and the platforms aren't just there. They've got, each of the little platforms have rockets under them, and then it's like algorithms to make the rockets kind of sort of float like this, like they're kind of hovering.
Oh, okay.
And then like a series of platforms are all hovering differently with their little rockets underneath them, and you sort of jump up them. It's like
So
it's
would
so
you
much fun.
say Swarm, or sorry, Slider is to Nugget as Swarm was to Plugio, or
That's
is it kind
probably
of a
true.
different
Yeah, that
relationship?
it might be similar, but I've got a feeling that Slider will be more successful because it's already just it's really good. It's going to be good.
That's
It's
good.
going to be it's going to be fun. I mean, let's put it this way: it's barely anything of a game. And Jack, my soon to be 6-year-old, he plays it and he loves it and he can do it and he's like, yeah. So
Does he message the other kids in there? It's like, hey, this is my dad's game.
well, he can't speak yet. I mean,
Oh, there are no
he
other
can't
kids.
write. He can't write.
Okay, right.
But yeah. I mean, he has a workaround. His workaround is he clicks into the text thing, he clicks the dictation button, and then he says what he wants, and the little speech bubble comes up. But he can't read the speech bubble, so he doesn't quite know what he said. But he can still communicate with a bunch of other kids that way. He's
Wow.
like, he'll sort of say something like, "Girl, move over there."
This, yeah, so this really is the future. Like that's so different than what it was like for me when I was 6.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Um, wow, that's pretty cool though.
Oh
Um,
yeah. But it's
any
super fun.
any other like news on the existing products or
Uh,
not in terms of what you've done, but just like new people showing up or stuff happening?
one of the guys that I was working with, so he wasn't a member of Nugget, but I reached out to him because I really liked his blog. Um, Michael Lynch is his name, and he didn't quite have it was really clear to me from looking at his blog because he has retrospectives on his blog. It's let me see, MT Lynch. Anyone? I recommend checking this guy out. mtlynch.io. So that's mtlynch.io. So he has retrospectives, and the way that he's doing it is exactly what the boot camp basically says. He's 100% doing what the boot camp says. So he's building his audience. He's writing great blogs. He's doing retrospectives of what he's doing. So he's got a following of developers. So it's an
Mm-hmm.
audience that he can relate to, and then he's sort of iterating on different ideas about what to sell to them, and he's sort of scratching his own itch on different stuff within that audience. And he hadn't worked out what to do when I started speaking to him, but one project that he had was this KVM machine. You
Mm-hmm.
basically plug it into it's like a Raspberry Pi KVM. You plug it into your computer, and it means that you can control your computer even when it's you can sort of you do reboots with it and update the BIOS and things like that. So it's really useful for remote guys. You can plug one of these into every computer. Let's say you're one of these remote techies who helps like 10 different companies out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a pain because you've got to go into the office if you've got to do a BIOS, but everything else you can do remotely. Now you can
Okay,
do it. Now you can do everything remotely, because you can plug it in. But there's all sorts of server
that's
farms and
interesting.
things like that.
Yeah, so he's writing to his audience about what he could sell them.
No, he's just writing to his audience about being an indie hacker, trying different
I
ideas.
see. I see.
He built he one of them he did was Is It Keto, which is a site that gets like 50,000 uniques every week, and
I
he's
think
just
you mentioned that before.
yeah
Yeah,
yeah. So he's just
yeah.
trying these different things, and you know he, I don't know if it was specifically because of the boot camp, but certainly after the boot camp, he sort of rebranded this KVM thing to Tiny Pilot. So he called it Tiny Pilot. So now it's got a catchy brand, and I know that he'd read the Nugget branding lesson, and then he
Right, right.
launched it and did great blog post on Hacker News, and now has sold he's I think he's closing in on 10,000 revenue.
Wow, it is a great start. It's kind of amazing, when that does work, when you can just have one post to a big site, and then that's enough to launch things and get it going.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen it happen a lot more on Twitter though.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like, what's the name of the guy that just wrote or he just made a video course on how to use Twitter? Daniel Vassallo.
Well,
He
that
did
makes sense.
a book on AWS
Yeah.
before, and then
Okay.
he sold that over Twitter really well. Basically, it's like two pieces of the funnel, and Adam Laffin uses the same ones. It's
Mm.
Twitter and then Gumroad. So it's like you get this big Twitter following by being helpful on Twitter, and then you tweet links to Gumroad where people can just like buy easily in one click, like just boom.
Just one sec. Yeah. So you're just saying Gumroad, Twitter.
Yeah. Like it seems like this really natural pairing because Twitter is easier to go viral on than other social media I know of, and Gumroad is probably just the easiest, slickest, one click buy something experience I know of. So if you just drop the Gumroad link to Twitter, you don't even need a web page. You could like literally, I mean, they do have one, but you literally could like just write a book and have nothing but Twitter and Gumroad, and that would be enough.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I had one other thing going on. So I'm doing like a mini launch on Alchemist Camp, which I do every once in a while.
Okay.
So basically, I just put new subscribers to my email list through like an intro sequence that ends with a pitch for an annual subscription to Alchemist Camp, which is discounted. And I've done it a few times before. This current one is actually not performing as well as before. Like the open rates on the emails are like 40%, but
Okay.
I launched it. I launched the actual sale started a day ago, and usually on one of these I'll get like based on. I mean, I've only got 500 people going through this one, but usually like that's enough to generate like say 4 sales or something.
Okay.
In the first day, and then maybe another, 2 to 4 on the last day, and probably nothing in between, because everyone buys right when it opens or right when it's about to close. But this time was only one, and I got an email from one of the people in it, and I want to just repeat that here because I found it pretty insightful. I think maybe the issue is just I've done this really long free Phoenix Live View series on building the site for Reactor, and when people go to my episodes page, like the top of it's just full of free videos. So he said, Mark, I really appreciate all you do. Honestly, I think you give away too much content to people, or you give away too much content away for people to want/need to pay for the 10% of videos they can't access. At a minimum, you should make that 50-50 and or have a bunch of clone videos where you build Twitter or Instagram clones or whatever, but you can only access those if you're a pro member. I feel like that would drive up membership. Just my humble opinion in case that's helpful. Feel free to tell me to piss off. And I basically said, thanks. This is actually one of the hardest things I've thought about is like balancing free versus paid, because the more paid stuff, the higher percentage of people become paid subscribers. The more free stuff, the more organic growth I get. And every free video that's open and accessible on YouTube brings in more people. Every free page on my website does the same.
I'm just recording a podcast, babe.
Basically, I told the guy like, it's a trade-off, and I'm hoping that people get sucked in enough that they want the source code, which even for like the free videos, I don't give the whole repo unless they're a member, or they realize, if I just save a couple hours and I'm like a professional dev, like that's worth my money and it's worth my time, But anyway, he seemed like really coming from a good place, and he also messaged back that his company's going to probably use Elixir, and he's going to try to get them to sponsor me. But yeah, maybe I'm just giving away too much for free, or it looks like too much of it's free.
Yeah, I definitely think that. I think that is, yeah. It could just be a perception thing as well. I agree with you because all the free videos are up top, so that could just be like an ordering thing. But still, it's a very good point. So I just signed up to there's a Roblox YouTuber called alvinblocks who creates who basically he's a kid and I think his voice only just broke. And he's got like hundreds of videos out there explaining very detailed stuff about Roblox game development, and he's got a Discord community and various different things. And so, firstly, well, I just signed up to a $39 a month plan to be in this guy's private membership community, so that especially just a specific channel to be able to access him and ask him questions.
Really? So is
Yeah.
there content with that too, or is it you're paying just for
You
the
you
Discord?
you get extra. You do get extra content. So the way that he's set up his YouTube subscription channel. So I don't know whether you've seen this, but YouTube have offer subscriptions, and obviously they take like some
I
cut.
just became eligible. Yeah.
Okay, so you different tiers get you access to different videos within YouTube, so you can sort of hide and release show those videos in YouTube. You can also, you get access to comment on certain videos, and then it's all plugged in with him with Discord as well, so that then you go into Discord and then you get into his private channel. And so I just last night I asked him a question that was like really troubling me. I was like, how the hell am I going to do this? And he's like, hey, you do it like this, just like a quick reply. So for him, it's like 2 seconds work,
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, that's worth a lot. Like I would have spent hundreds on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was wondering, is that an option, like to have a private Slack or private Discord that you, I mean, these Elixir guys would pay more money. I think you could take it up. You could
Maybe.
be
I
like
could.
$99 a month. You know what I'm saying? To get
I don't know
your
about
person.
that.
No,
If I'm giving support, yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're making yourself available to people who are working in companies, and you're saying, I'll answer your questions, like for $99 a month, get you in there. I think you could get 20, 30 sales.
That's possible. I would have to think really hard about like how I would want to structure that so I don't have a horrible life as a result.
Well, it's real simple. You just only make one slot open. Because I think you will have less of a horrible life than you think. This is what my experience is from working with and mentoring
Hmm.
hundreds of people in Nugget. Like there's a certain rush for like a day, and then you never hear from them again. you
And
know,
they keep paying.
yeah, because it's like well, in your case, they would definitely keep paying because it's like an insurance thing. It's
This
like, look,
Yeah.
there's this one time where I really need something done. I mean, it's just Mark's on retainer for $100 a month. I mean, that's
Yeah.
nothing.
Well, I definitely don't want to be like on call all the time. Um,
No, well, you
yeah,
wouldn't. It's
there's
asynchronous. You
yeah,
don't
yeah.
just ask the questions
It'd
like
have to
half an hour a
be
day.
yeah, it'd have to be like some kind of setting expectations for turnaround time and also scope of what I can do, right? Like I can't do absolutely every single problem that can come up in the world of Elixir.
Oh, I mean, I think that goes without saying.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I think that goes without saying. But what I'm saying is,
You did a founder cafe, something like that.
that does sound familiar.
You had like something for entrepreneurs that was some kind of membership. I don't remember if they were paying or not.
They weren't. That was Startup Guild or something. App
Startup
Guild.
Guild.
Yeah, yeah. Founder
Okay, App
Cafes.
Guild.
Rob Walling and Mike Tabors thing.
I'm sorry, I got you all mixed up.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think that, especially given what an expert you are at this, I think that would be a real quick way for you to add another couple of thousand to your bottom line.
So it'd be like super premium, basically. It'd be a new tier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. I especially like that more than like suddenly giving like YouTube 30% of my revenue or whatever it would take to join theirs.
Well, another good thing about it is those kind of people. I don't know if you've experienced this, but I definitely have. The people who are paying you like $100 a month or more,
Mhm.
they're really nice to deal with.
Yeah, I did a really short consulting engagement. I did a 1 hour call, and I did about an hour in total of like prep before and after, and a little bit of like cleanup stuff after for a consult with one of my existing subscribers. It's a guy in France making like um, an educational product for French people learning math, and um, he just wanted some advice about setting up his database and just feedback on various parts of it. And it was a great consult. He paid like, I think 2 minutes after the call ended. It was, I had zero complaints at all. And it was I think a nicer experience than, what I would encounter on like Code Mentor or any,
Well, that's a
any
whole,
kind of
yeah,
platform.
okay. That's a whole other thing. I mean, but that's where you charge, 250 an hour, like for a kind of screen share type of thing. That's a whole other super, super, super premium, you know. I'll do an hour screen sharing with you for $500.
I didn't charge him that much, but yeah,
Like
yeah,
that should be super premium. So yeah. But
yeah.
yeah, I think that if I was you, I would definitely do that, especially because it's great for the connection, for the networking. They become like some of become your most high value customers. You can start pushing that price up as well for that membership over time.
I gotta dig into Discord and like just learn how to set that up. I'm sure it's doable. I know open source communities that use it. So
I'm thinking I should probably move Nugget to Discord, but I'm not. Well,
if
should I
you've
do
got it
that
set
now?
up and it's working, I would just leave it.
Leave it like Slack? Yeah.
Well, I mean, like for example, I am in that Slack, and
Yeah.
it would be annoying for me if I have to move,
Yeah.
even though I like Discord more than Slack.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then some other people maybe don't like Discord or don't know it.
But I'm just about to get thousands in there. But
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It might still be worth just leave it Slack. It's all set up.
So, got a little bit of news about Reactor.
Oh,
Yes,
is it a
I
screen?
got.
Is it screen shareable?
Yeah. I will screen share this. Let's see if I can. Can I screen share just? Oh yeah, there we go. So I got an email from Pinecast about Amazon Music. Have you heard of that? Can you see
I have heard of Amazon Music. Yeah.
Can you see the screen? Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like a new thing, and they already have 50 million listeners, and it's growing. And he's like, hey, you should sign up for this. They verify through the podcast host or through the hosting service, which is Pinecast. And so I was reading through it, and I just had to fill out this form with like information about it. And I saw in the terms and service this wonderful clause here. I want to run by you. Content restrictions. Your content may not include advertising or messages that disparage or are directed against Amazon or any service, including advertising that does not comply with Amazon's creative acceptance policies, blah, 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 blah. So the thing is, if we want our podcast on Amazon Music, you can't say that AWS is overpriced compared to DigitalOcean or Linode or like whatever alternative. You can't say that Amazon Prime just doesn't have as many movies that you like as Netflix. You couldn't say that, Jeff Bezos has a disturbing laugh. Well, maybe you could say that, but
there's no way they can police that. So
I think that's
what's
probably
this going to happen? Like they're going to take you. Okay, firstly,
I
they
think that's
can't
probably
police it.
true. But,
Secondly,
but
they're
I
just
think
going
it's nuts. Like I think just even asking for this is insane. And they do have a reputation of like hunting down their old employees and suing them over non-competes.
Really?
Yeah, like their non-competes are more extreme and more ridiculous by far, even than Microsoft, Apple, Google, Facebook. These are huge companies, and they're famous for like trying to enforce them. So, like if you go from Amazon to Google, and Google like really wants you, you're probably fine. But if you go from Amazon to like some company that doesn't have the resources to deal with it, like they get a nasty letter, they might just pass
Just
on
fire
you.
you.
Yeah, and even if your work there would have nothing to do with the work you did before, but it's just whatever work you do, like Amazon probably does that somewhere, right?
So maybe just never work for Amazon.
Exactly. I think the best relationship with Amazon is customer.
Interesting. Yeah.
I'm totally happy to be their customer, but
How's our
probably won't
stats?
ever work there. We have gone up to 21 YouTube subscribers.
What? 21? But I still
Yes.
haven't had a single request for intro music, so We'll see. We'll see.
Well, I've been slow about publishing, so
Okay.
it's like I think only one video has gone out that includes your request. So you'll probably like now probably every week there will be more and more and more requests getting out there on the internet, and we'll have this delayed in a reaction, and then you'll be like,
Okay.
"Stop! This is enough. I've already made music." I'll be like, "Well, they'll get that in a month."
Okay.
I'm trying to get caught up. I'm trying to go through these a bit faster.
Mm-hmm.
I've just got to. So what I figured out is I don't want to like one thing I want to avoid is I don't want to just publish 5 new episodes in the same week, right? Like that'd just be annoying. However, if I'm always like, it's too early, I don't want to like go through a second one, then like 5 days later I might be busy. So what I should do is I should just edit like 5 episodes in batch.
Yeah, whenever you can,
And
just
then
edit as you
dribble
can.
them out.
Yeah.
Well, I think batching is faster, so I should just
Okay.
edit them in batch, which
Okay.
doesn't mean I have to publish them in batch. But for some
Yeah.
reason, I was linking them together in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like a proper job queue system, right?
I know, and I've been reading about this stuff all week.
What was going to say? Oh crap, it slipped my mind.
Bloomfield.
Oh yeah. What was the stats like? So that was how many subscribers we have, 22 or 21. But
21.
what's the stats?
Oh, on the podcast side,
Mm-hmm. No.
Says 63 subscribers. That number fluctuates up and down by like 10 or 20 every day, though.
How many
This is
listens?
based on who's listened. Listens is down. That's like 9 a day now.
Oh really?
And
What was it before?
Last time it was 11, which was way up. The time before that it was 8. But the thing is, I didn't put out a new episode within the past 7 days. Last episode was 8 days ago. So
isn't it weird? So much of it is dependent on like cadence and yeah. So okay, so do the batch idea and then put them out. Can you do me a favor and possibly put them out like clockwork on the same day, moving forward?
That will interfere with my plan to get caught up.
Why?
Well, because if I just do the same day, like we'll always be the same number of weeks behind at best.
Okay, so how many weeks are we behind right now?
I think 7, something like that. No, 8.
So we're 2 months behind.
Yeah, last one I published was number 15, and that was 8 days ago. Can I just say
you're not very good at publishing our show?
Well, I got to listen.
You're very slow at it.
Got to listen to them, and I listen at 3x, but I've also got to edit out clips and stuff like that.
I know what it's like. I've done it for texting, but I never got
video. Not video.
No, not video. Yeah, and yeah.
One other thing that slows it down a little bit is just literally making the video. Like after I've made whatever minor edits, just the process of generating the video on my Mac, aka computer, without a real graphics card takes an hour.
Do you have the MacBook Pro 16?
No, I have a Mac Mini.
Did I tell you that I bought a 16?
No, I don't think you did. What kind of graphics card do you have?
Let me just see here.
The thing that's weird is like this latest batch of minis have way better processors. There's way better specs than minis had previously. It's like better than a lot of the MacBook Pros.
It has the graphics is an Intel UHD graphics 630.
That's the same one I have.
1536 MB.
Yeah, that's the same thing I have. So
it's crap.
The thing that's crazy is like everything else on the computer is great, but just like making one of these videos with Shotcut takes slightly longer on this than it does on my $550 Asus laptop that I got in 2016.
That's bizarre.
I've
literally got top of the line. I can't believe it has the crap graphics card because this is top of the line.
So that really cheap Asus that I have from 2016 has an NVIDIA graphics card. Steve Jobs had some kind of like death grudge against NVIDIA.
Okay.
And like I believe Apple still doesn't use NVIDIA at all.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I guess also they're not trying, like, even though it's pro, they're not really trying to cater to like people who need powerful graphics processors. They're like pro, I think it's just like,
But I thought all the
like
movies
some
in the world
product
were made on
manager with
Macs.
like a, that was a long time ago. I think the Mac Pro, like that behemoth, would do it. But I think,
Jeez.
yeah, video processing. Maybe some of the iMac Pro actually would be fine. Also, that has a good graphics card. Anyway, it is what it is. So it
Okay, so basically,
takes some time.
yeah. So you will release the new shows, and you will edit them as you can see fit, and you're not going to put them out every week. You're going to so maybe put out 2 a week.
So my idea was maybe a cadence of every 4 days or every 5 days.
Okay.
That way, it's not so often that it annoys people. You know, because I would be annoyed if like my whole podcast front feed was like the same podcast releasing everything. But it's also like more often than once a week, so that we'll get caught up and it'll probably have like better stats while it's in the process of getting caught up.
Okay, cool. So for goals, I'm really gonna try and get the Nugget thing launched, or at least get it ready to be launched. That's my goal. This time next week, get Nugget ready to be launched.
Let's see. I guess I'm going to make my main goal Phoenix Igniter. It's been too much in the back burner.
Okay.
I've also gotten sucked into this. I bought a Rust Manning course, like video, and I've like gone through more than half of that. So goal 1 is get some work done on Phoenix Igniter. Goal 2 is do something top of the funnel for Alchemist Camp. I'm thinking blog post, just something where I can get in more people. Goal 3 is restrain my learning time. Don't let that like overwhelm everything else.
Okay. Yeah, I have been. Let me do a second goal. I'm going to spend the rest of this week because we were on vacation at Grandma's. It was impossible to follow the intermittent fasting of stopping eating between 2 and 3 every day. But this next week, I'm going to do 7 days of stopping eating between 2 and 3 every day until the next morning. And I want to see what effect that has for a week. That's my goal too.
I think that'll have good effects, but they won't be that visible, like unless you're doing like blood readings or something.
Cool. Well, let's just see. I mean, even just 2 days of it, I already feel a bit better right now. So from a feeling point of view, I'm feeling better. But from a weight point of view, another thing that I'm doing, and I don't know, I guess this could be a goal. I've started to drink like 2 liters of water a day. So my weight has gone up considerably since doing that.
Really?
Yeah, because I guess it's just being sucked. It's just being like sucked in and retained.
That just means you used to be really dehydrated.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but I think that's the reason why I'm feeling much better. You know, just physically much better. But I'm like 4 pounds heavier or something, 4 or 5 pounds heavier. Yeah.
Well, I know you've got another meeting coming right up. So best of luck and see you next week.
Good luck with your Facebook stuff.
We'll see. That's definitely not my major goal.
All right.
All right.
Speak to you later.
Talk to you later.
Bye.